So we all know generative AI is this incredible tool, right? It's like a superpower for our brains, processing tons of information in a flash. But is there a catch? What's the hidden price we're paying for all this convenience? That's what we're digging into today. And that brings us to the core question of this whole thing. What if the price of all this amazing AI convenience is our actual ability to think for ourselves? It's a provocative idea, but it's one that cognitive scientists are taking very seriously. So let's see what the research actually says. Okay, to really get into this, we have to talk about something called cognitive offloading. Now, this isn't some brand new phenomenon. We've been doing it for ages. But with AI, it's like we've put it on steroids. And it's leading to a state that some researchers are calling the hollowed mind. You know this feeling, right? It's the Google effect. Why bother remembering a fact when you know you can just look it up in 2 seconds? Our brains, instead of being these rich databases of knowledge, are basically turning into really efficient directories. We remember how to find the information, not the information itself.
And it's not just Google. Think about GPS. How many of us can actually navigate a new city without it? The more we lean on that little blue dot, the weaker our own internal compass becomes. And this isn't just a feeling. Brain scans actually show less activity in the hippocampus, the part of our brain that builds mental maps. We get to our destination, sure, but we're losing the actual skill of getting there. So you take the Google effect, you take this GPS thing, and what you get is a perfect picture of the hollowed mind. It's a state of dependency. We're constantly bypassing the hard work of deep thinking, and what we're left with is, well, a pretty superficial understanding of things. We start to think that just because we can access an answer quickly, we actually know it, and that's a dangerous mistake. But why do we do this? Why are we so eager to hand over our thinking to a machine? Well, it turns out the answer isn't that we're lazy. It's actually baked right into our biology. This is where Daniel Kahneman's famous idea of 2 systems of thinking comes in. Think of it like this. System 1 is your brain on autopilot. It's fast, intuitive, and takes almost no effort. System 2, well, that's the heavy lifter. It's slow, analytical, and requires real concentration. And guess which one is responsible for actual deep learning? Yep, System 2.
And here's the kicker. Our brains are fundamentally energy-saving machines. It's an ancient survival instinct. So naturally, we're always going to prefer the easy, low-energy path of System 1. Firing up that effortful System 2, that takes a real conscious push.
And this is where AI fits in so perfectly. It's designed to tap right into that lazy default. You have a tough problem? You ask the AI, and boom, instant, plausible answer. You get that little dopamine hit of a solution, but without any of the hard cognitive work. It's a cognitive bypass. The struggle, the mental grappling that actually builds knowledge, it just gets completely sidestepped.
And what makes this bypass so tempting is something called the sovereignty trap. The AI's answers are just so good. They're fast, they sound authoritative, and they feel right. So the temptation is huge to just cede our own judgment, to stop questioning and just accept what the machine tells us.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's where the story gets really interesting. It turns out the effect of AI isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. Researchers are calling this the expertise duality, because AI impacts beginners and experts in completely different ways.
So check this out. For a novice, someone new to a field, AI acts like a leveler. It gives them a boost, helping them perform tasks they otherwise couldn't. But for an expert, AI becomes an amplifier. It's a tool, a thought partner that enhances their existing skills. And the key difference comes down to one thing: cognitive effort. Experts don't just accept the AI's answer. They push back, they verify, they use it as a sparring partner. And the consequences of this difference are huge. A major study by Harvard and BCG threw a wrench in the works. They gave people tasks where the AI was deliberately wrong sometimes. And the novices who just blindly trusted the AI, their performance dropped by a massive 19%. You can see it right here. When things got tricky and the AI made mistakes, the novices who relied on it just fell flat. But the experts, because they had that deep knowledge base, they could spot the AI's errors, overrule them, and actually ended up performing better. It's a total reversal. So what do? The answer isn't to throw our laptops out the window and abandon AI. No way. The solution is to fundamentally change our relationship with it. We need to build what you could call a fortified mind, a way of thinking that can handle these new pressures. And the ultimate goal here is something called cognitive sovereignty. It's a fancy term for a simple idea.
You are in charge. You are the master of your tools, not the other way around. It means you have the wisdom to know when to trust the AI, when to double-check its work, and, crucially, when to say, nope, you're wrong, and overrule it.
And how do we get there? By building that fortified mind. Now, this isn't about going back to rote memorization. It's about building a tough, resilient mental framework that lets you work with AI as a partner without becoming totally dependent on it. So what does a fortified mind actually consist of? The research points to 3 key pillars. First, you need a solid foundation of knowledge in your field. You need enough expertise to know when an answer just feels wrong. Second, you need metacognitive skills, which is really just a fancy way of saying you need to think about your own thinking. You have to be self-aware. And third, you have to actively cultivate the habit of using that effortful System 2 thinking. It really all boils down to this simple idea. Use AI as a scaffold, not a crutch. You know, a scaffold is there to help you build something bigger and better, and then you take it away. A crutch? Well, you lean on it, and pretty soon your own muscles forget how to walk. And this brings us to the big picture. Because this isn't just about you or me making better choices. This is a massive design challenge for our entire society, for how we build our technology and how we design our schools.
I mean, we can't just put all the blame on users for taking the path of least resistance. That's how our brains are wired. The folks designing these AI tools have a huge responsibility here. They need to create systems that actually encourage us to think and engage, not just to click and consume.
And that leaves us with one final, crucial question to chew on. Are we building answer engines that just spit out facts? Or are we building thinking engines that help us become better thinkers? Because honestly, the future of our partnership with AI, and maybe the future shape of our own minds, really depends on how we answer that question.